Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. I hope you stay and enjoy this video and find it helpful. So I decided to paint a little Canada mother goose and her little goslings. Now to start with, I painted the goslings with yellow ochre, so a very diluted solution of yellow ochre. I already done that because you would not be able to see it very well, so I already got ahead of that. And what I did is I wet the whole gosling, even the pencil outside the pencil line. I went over that with the water, and then I applied very diluted yellow ochre on there and let it dry. So now I'm painting the eyes, and I'm applying Payne's grey for the eyes and also on the beaks. Now I apply Payne's grey on the lower part of the beaks, which is the shadow bit, the darker part. And the part at the top I applied a very diluted ultramarine blue, so very light, very watery solution on top. It just gives a hint of light. So now what I'm doing for this gosling, I'm applying the water over it, and I'm trying not to go outside the line, because what I'm trying to aim in here is to leave a little gap between the line and the inside of the line, and I wanted to add a little bit of a light reflection of the sun reflecting on the outer feathers. So I'm applying now the sepia, and I'm concentrating inside that little yellow rim that I want to leave. I want to apply the sepia around in the inside of that yellow rim, or the light color rim, around the body, mainly on the back, the neck and the front. So the sepia is very diluted, so I'm applying layers of it. And I'm focusing, looking at the reference photo where these darker shadows are. So sometimes I go with a little bit of heavier consistency. As you can see now, it looks a little bit darker, so going a bit heavier consistency on the same mixture. And then now I'm applying the yellow ochre, but a much heavier consistency as well on these sections. So I place the paint, and then I use clean the brush on a damp on water with a damp brush, because I'm from the water. I'm placing it on a tissue to dry just the extra excess of the water, because I don't want too much water there. And then I'm going over the paint and just dabbing it around the edges, mainly just to get it like a soft edge. So I'm going over again with that sepia now, looking at the reference photo and just checking where the light areas are and the darker areas are. Also, if I go over the body, I can use the damp brush, a clean damp brush, and just brush away that excess paint, and that lifts the paint away where I make a mistake if I go over where I shouldn't go. So I'm pushing the paint out a little bit as well with the damp brush, because it's still a little bit damp, so I'm pushing it out a bit to create that sort of feathery effects and try and make it fluffy. Now there is another way of painting a fluffy gosling. You can apply it completely wet on wet. In this painting I add wet on wet, but I also work wet on dry, and I always apply a little bit of water on that dry paint or damp paint to soften the edges. So gradually I'm not worrying too much about the base of the bird because the grass is going to go above it. As you can see on the photograph, I did resemble on my painting at the end of it the grass coming over the goslings a little bit. So their little feet, you can't see the little feet. So I'm looking again for the darker patches. And in this section here, I wanted to add a little bit of Winsor Violet. The mother has got Winsor Violet on her, and I wanted to replicate that on the goslings too. And that's mainly on the back of the gosling, there's shadow, so you can see that. And using Winsor Violet is a great way of creating shadow on a light surface. So almost like very pale surface. Now this I'm applying again the sepia, so I'm picking up that sepia, and because the paper is still wet, I'm creating those little dots that you can see, so they will be more intense later on, and I'm leaving little gaps, and those little gaps are the fluffiness of the geese. Sorry. So that replicates it a little bit more, and they will become softer because the paper was damp. Okay, so that neck area was quite tricky to do. I had to apply paint over and over again because it is quite dark on the reference photo. So in this painting I created, there was a vision that I had, especially for Mother's Day. So I wanted to paint something for Mother's Day. And what it is a mother goose with her goslings. So she's guiding them to the water. She's guiding them to experience new things. And I think I relate to that as a mother myself, and I'm sure many mothers will relate to that, that we are really mothers. We are guiding stars. We guide our children through life, and we help them and support them, and we show them the journey to get there, hopefully. So what I did is I created the grass similar to the photograph, but not quite the same, and then a bit of a lake as well, because I wanted her to look into the lake in distance and looking tall and proud like she should be. Okay, so the gosling, I'm looking at little details on the gosling now, and the paper's still a little bit damp, but if it does incline to dry the paper, what I do is I add a little bit of water every time I place a paint. So I place the paint and it's a bit dark, doesn't matter. I go over with a damp brush to push and move that paint and soften those edges. Okay, so I'm keeping it light below. As you can see in the reference photo, the lower part of the bird is quite light at the front, but it is quite dark in little sections. So you can see when I'm applying that thicker consistency, it's just spreading all the time, which is lovely. And that's creating a bit of fluffiness effect there. I didn't want it to be too heavy. I wanted it to be a bit more natural. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music for you and let you just relax and enjoy this. And I'll come back soon. Thank you. Okay, so now we started on the second bird, and this bird is a little bit bigger than the others, as you can see. So I'm wetting the top of the head and the neck and the front of the chest. So part of this bird is showing and part of it isn't. So I'm doing the same thing, the same technique that I done before. So I'm applying the sepia around the head and always checking. I mean, this bird, this little gosling in the reference photo doesn't show much yellow ochre on the face and on not much of the sepia either. So just a little bit, because I think he's quite a lot of it is quite light. So I did play with his colours a little bit different. So I added some Payne's grey on the body, on the front, very diluted, and also Winsor violet. So you can see me applying now the sepia on the top. Okay, so you had to be careful not to go too much over the head of the other one. So I'm almost doing like a negative painting here. So I'm adding the paint and I'm creating a fluff effect for the one in front of this gosling. So you can see me moving the paint here because the head was almost disappearing and I went too far down. So you have to push the paint in little lines to create that fluffiness around the one at the front, the head around the one at the front, if it makes any sense. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, please leave it a note in the comments. I would love to know if you'd like me to explain things a little bit different, and I will do that. I'll be more careful in my videos. I would love to make another video of for Easter of a cheek, maybe a little cheek, and make it fluffy for you. So show you how to do that one with wet on wet, completely wet on wet, and add different tone values on it. So that's something to think about. If you like to see one of those videos, please leave in the comments. I would love to know. That would be very helpful. So I'm applying a very diluted Payne's grey here, and I'm pushing it up. So very cute goslings. They're very cute, I think. And I think, to be honest, most goslings of many geese, different geese, they all look very similar. They all have a little bit of different tone values on them, but not much difference. So some of these are a little bit more mature than the others. I mean, this one is obviously big, much bigger, so he's got already some tone values similar to the mother. And the others are tiny. The ones that are on the front of the photograph, I thought I needed to add those two. They're actually looking at each other, and I thought it was quite cute. I hope you like it too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more music for you, and I will come back when I see something that it will be interesting for me to explain. But pretty much through all the other goslings, I will be doing the same techniques, and I'll look at my reference photo really carefully to see the different tone values and the darks and the shadows that you spot and the light. So work around that. Okay, so I'll let you listen to this music and I'll stop rambling. Okay. Okay, so now I'm starting on this bird, and this one is a little bit more tricky because he has got a very light, the back of his head is very, very light. And I needed to do the front of the face. It has got like the cheeks, you can see the cheeks are higher as well, so I wanted to get that detail there, so it shows the detail. And then I'm going with the same paint and going down on the neck and sepia and yellow ochre. So I play with this paints back and forth. I also at first I got carried away and made the head and the neck too thick, too wide, so I had to lift the paint, and because I painted it very light, you are able to correct that by adding water and using perhaps a eradicator brush to brush the paint up very gently, and then use a tissue to dab it, and it does come out really nicely. It does work really well. So I'm looking at every single detail on this little bird because he was quite tricky, and especially because he's really buried in the grass, so I had to imagine pretty much where his features were. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this section here now, and now I'm going to put some more music for you. So I jumped ahead now, and I added, as you can see, more detail on all the little goslings, and the lighting for some reason was completely different to the rest of the video on this section here, because I used a different camera. My camera, I used actually my phone, funny enough, and I have a soft light, and they came really nice and bright. That is good lighting actually. Where my camera died, the battery died, so I had to recharge it, and I forgot to charge it up again when I was doing this section here, which was another day. So I used my phone, and that's why it's so bright, which is probably nicer. It's much clearer. So I'm going on again with the sepia and adding more detail, and you can see more definition on the birds, and dabbing it very gently, more a thicker consistency, and then dabbing it with a bit of water just to dissolve it a little bit more. So I'm going over the whole bird. So it's quite difficult to create fluffy goslings, but like you can see, I didn't do it with wet and wet completely. I did use, like in here, I'm doing wet on dry now, and obviously you play with the paint and the water to get the consistency and the paint to look just how you want it on the paper. It's quite good to do wet and dry sometimes, because you can get more detail on your paintings. You can create more texture, and that's what I was trying to aim to do in this painting. Okay, so we're coming to the end, near to the end of the video, and I hope you have found this helpful, and please leave me any information that you would like to know a little bit more in the comments. If you like any more videos like this, it would be great to know. And if you have watched it till the end, it would be great if you pop the word Goslings in the comments as well, so I know you have watched it till the end. and hope to bring more videos like this for you. So I'm planning to paint more birds, so please subscribe to my channel and you will receive updates when that happens. And if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. So thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.